This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. It's fight week for one of Sam Jones's guys. John Hedges is back in the ring. Eddie Hearn just admitted today in a press conference that you and him made a mistake about John's pro debut. Is that fair?
Yeah, look, listen, I came out after John's debut, didn't I? And I said, what it was is we got loads of different opponents, loads of them fell through, and there was just this one that came through last minute, and it was that, or basically John's pro debut was off, and there was a lot of problems going into John's debut where getting signed off from the board on time because he'd only just had his board meeting. It was all not great preparation for an 18-year-old's debut. And look, the ball Matchroom, of course, matched him, but the ball stops with me because I got the final say on it, and I said, listen, let's do it. So I like what I said after the fight. Give me full responsibility for that. My fault. Put hands up. We live and we learn. John got the win on the night. Yeah, it was controversial. Jan Arden was unlucky on that night, but John has had a brilliant amateur career, top level amateur, and if we get this right with John, I'm still confident, very, very confident John is going to go all the way. He's got all the physical attributes. He's very mature as a up here, like you've interviewed him many times. You know John outside of Umar. You spent time with him. He's a very switched on young man, and we believe he can go all the way. And this is this fight he's got on Saturday is the type of debut he should have had. And I want people to not judge John on his first fight, and give him chance, let him develop. He's only a baby. He's 18 years old. Listen, just follow his journey, and also he's growing as well. I don't know what. Listen, he might even end up a heavyweight. He's 6'6" now. I don't know whether John's told you this, but he's 6'6" now. He's grown again. But when from his debut, he was a super middleweight, 6'4", 6'5". He's now 6'6" and a light heavyweight. So it's he's only 18. So I don't know when they stop growing. You're still growing now, aren't you, Mark? He's he's 18 years old. You don't stop growing till you're 21. So God knows how big he's going to be. But for sure, we're expecting a much better performance than his professional debut.
Do you think there's a bit of pressure on John this weekend, Sam?
Of course. Listen, he's on the biggest platform. He's on the biggest platform. One of the biggest platforms in world boxing. Of course, there's pressure, but this is the life he chose, and this is you've got to walk the walk, haven't you? This is it. This is the game we're in. It's a pressure business.
Yeah, certainly is. I'm sure you'll be having a keen eye on the main event as well, because obviously there's been a lot of talk about Florian and Conor Benn, etc. Now, Conor Benn's made some recent comments in the build-up to this fight with Samuel Vargas, saying that he would like either Conor Benn, pardon me. He would like either Kell Brook or Amir Khan. What do you think about that, Sam?
Yeah, listen, great fights for him. Both past their best, way past their best, Amir and Kell. So that kind of, they're trying to build Conor to be a pay-per-view fighter, which is Conor's good looking, talks very well, speaks flipping Spanish, which was what we found out the other day. His dad's probably one of the most exciting fighters to ever grace a boxing ring. All the foundations are there for a superstar, aren't they? He's been immaculately matched. We have to be honest about the situation. Immaculately matched. Shout out Matchroom, because they have done an incredible job since the Paynard wobble. They've matched him perfectly and given him the perfect opponent. Samuel Vargas, I believe, again, a perfect opponent for Conor. He's not a notable puncher. I know he did put Amir Khan, but he's not a notable puncher. He's a decent name. He's been in with all the top guys. Fell short every single time against a top guy. But it's a It's the Americans know him, so there's a bit of crossover appeal. So it's exceptional matchmaking again from Matchroom for Conor Benn. And if Conor does beat Samuel Boggs, which is what I believe he will in good style, he will probably fight an Amir Khan because it's a pay-per-view fight. And then Amir, because he's past his best, it could be, again, fantastic matchmaking, because if Conor and Amir fought while Amir was in his prime, it's a total mismatch in Amir's favour. Amir Khan would take Conor out, no disrespect, very easily right now, as would Kell Brook. Two opposite. So they're just being very clever. I'm all for it, no problem. Good luck to Conor Benn. The situation is, it's like Sky Sports interviewed Florian the other day, and Florian's kind of getting sick of being asked about it, but he's not going to say no. Like Sky have been good to Florian, so they interview and they ask him questions. Florian wants to fight Conor Benn because the simple reason is Florian can go and fight whoever he wants. Florian can have his own show. Florian doesn't need a promoter. He's got that bigger fan base. He can go and sell out arenas in Albania, New York, but he's Florian wants to fight Conor Benn for the simple reason he believes he can beat him. So that's all it comes down to. There's no animosity, no real animosity like there. Believe it, I've had conversations with Florian many times, and Florian likes Conor Benn. Like, he likes his style. Conor's never in a boring fight, is he? Never in a boring fight. So we're all for it. If Conor Benn and Florian MARKU fought, like what I keep saying, it would sell out any arena. It would sell out any arena because of the size of Florian's fan base. Conor's got Florian's a well-known guy, becoming even more well-known guy. So it's just a big fight. But if Conor's got aspirations to go and fight a past their best Amir Khan and a past their best Kell Brook, good luck to him. No problem. Florian will go his own routes, no problem. But if we're being asked the question, does Florian want to fight Conor Benn? Of course he does. It's a huge fight. But I support Conor Benn. I can't wait to watch Conor Benn. I'm looking forward to him, and I'll be backing him, supporting him. I hope he gets the job done in spectacular style on Saturday. But if he fought my man, Florian, I would have full confidence in Florian MARKU beating Conor Benn. That's just the way it is.
What's the likelihood that Florian's next fight will either be in the States or Albania?
High. Depending on the restrictions at the moment. I don't know when the crowd expecting New York, but what I did the other day, I think he expects the crowds to come back in July in New York, and that's when Florian's going to be boxing. I believe Florian will be boxing in July, but I would say Florian's next fight is looking more likely to be New York or Albania next.
Okay. And what did you make of some of Ryland Charlton's recent comments about his fight with Florian?
I've got no time for Ryland Charlton after what he's saying about Florian. I went into Ryland's changing room. Me and Florian tried to see how he was after the fight. Listen, at the build-up, it was just the build-up. Do you know what I mean? It was just the build-up. But Ryland's been saying some really not great things about Florian. Just give him credit. Like, he beat you, and beat you easy as well. Let's be honest, and beat you with one hand as well. You know this, Umar. When you came to see Florian in the gym before, we was talks of even pulling him out because of how bad Florian's had. He dislocated his thumb. I was sat in a hospital with him before the fight for hours, and this talk of Ryland's a light welterweight. Yeah, no problem. Florian can make light welterweight as well. So there's no real argument. The better man just won, and that's what happens in boxing. The better man won. Florian did speak a big game, but that's because that's his character. Do you know what I mean? That's why people want to watch Florian, because he is charismatic, and he will speak and he will talk loud. But ultimately, people have to give him the respect. There was so much pressure going on Florian in that fight because his performance against Jamie Stewart, even though it was a daylight robbery, horrendous robbery, he was piss poor. Florian was in that fight. He really was. Terrible performance from Florian. Even though he won, he didn't look great. So all that pressure was going in onto the Ryland Charlton fight. He went in there injured. And he went in there with all the pressure, and also people thinking Ryland was going to beat him. So let's give him some credit now. But yeah, Ryland, no time for him after that. Good luck to him. I hope he does well in his career. But as a person, he's disappointed me since then. But it is what it is. We're not here to talk about Ryland Charlton. We're talking about Florian.
Well, I want to talk to you about Joe Joyce now and Johnny Fisher. Just talk me through the deal that they've done, Sam.
Joe's jumped on board with Johnny's management. assisting us. That's the bottom line of it. And Joe rightfully deserves that, because Joe brought him into boxing. He brought him into the camps he had in Vegas, and Johnny's got his name off the back of that, really. But ultimately, Johnny's a super talent, and I don't want to put too much pressure on him. You've seen him up close as well, Umar. The sparring he's done, and ultimately he was a very impressive debut performance, and I don't think it did go under the radar. I think people were the masses were impressed with Johnny's debut, because he got Gordon out the ring a lot quicker than some of the other top prospects in heavyweight boxing. Johnny's going to go a long way, and it's going to be a very, very exciting journey. I'm very, very excited about him.
So, Sam, as the days go on, it looks like Fury Joshua at the moment is collapsing for this summer. So where does that leave Joyce and Usyk? Because Joshua will have to box Usyk unless he vacates. So where does this leave Joe Joyce?
Listen, we're gonna see. I still believe the fight between Fury and AJ is too big not to happen. So whether it happens this summer or later this year, I believe the fight's too big not to happen, and I have full confidence that fight will still happen this year. Joe's got loads of options. Do you know what I mean? The book doesn't just stop with Usyk. We are preparing for Usyk. That's the fight Joe wants. That's the fight we expect to make next. But if not, it is what it is. Joe's a big name in heavyweight division now. This isn't the case of when Joe beat Daniel Dubois, all the names that we'd have requested to fight before were all coming out the woodwork to try and fight Joe, and now they're all coming out the woodwork. So we're not going to have a problem getting Joe a fight after this.
Would you consider a fight with Francis Ngannou?
Yeah, why not? I like Francis Ngannou. Great fight between them two. You should have seen them spar. Unbelievable.
What about the WWE for Joe?
I would put Joe. I would put Joe in the ring. Francis Ngannou's not really a grappler. He's a stand-up fighter, kicks and punches. I would put Joe in a fight with a cage with Francis Ngannou.
There was rumors about Joe going into WWE as well.
Who knows? That could be happening as well.
Okay. But you'd seriously consider him against a UFC fighter in the ring, yeah?
I'd consider Joe versus Ngannou in the cage.
In the cage?
Why not? Joe does capoeira. Joe's handy with his kicks. So Joe's a natural athlete. What 6'6" men, 19.5 stone, do you know that can do standing backflips?
None.
I don't know any other than Joe.
Has this been discussed on quite a high level yet or not?
Not a high level, but when Joe goes back to America to do his camps, because this is where Joe likes to do his camps, he trains in the UFC Performance Center, like what he did for before the Dubois fight. Joe was in the cage, like practicing, doing a bit. Joe is an all-round fighter. I would back Joe to fight Francis Ngannou in the cage.
Okay.
Obviously, if Ngannou started putting him in headlocks, and that's a different story. But a stand-up fight with Ngannou in the cage, that's an interesting fight. Trust me.
If it's not Usyk this summer, if it's not Francis Ngannou or another UFC fighter, give me some names. Who could Joe box, Sam?
I don't know. Might not vacate the British title. Might just keep the British title and say who wants to fight.
Really?
Why not?
Yeah, but hasn't Joe gone up to that other level now?
Yeah, he has. But you got to keep busy, haven't you? Inactivity kills fighters.
So you'd fight guys like Fabio Wardley?
Why not? I love Fabio Wardley, but yeah, on a serious note, but like, it's like Joe said the other day, he hears all the British. Joe's aim is, yeah, look, he wants. Joe's above that level. He is above that level, but who knows what's going to happen because of the logjam that the AJ Fury's kind of causing. Joe's like, well, what's the point in vacating anything yet?
What about the winner of Joshua Parker?
What? Joe's above both of those two.
But I just mentioned Fabio Wardley, and you said.
But what I'm saying, but you just said, oh, what about the win? Of course, Joe will fight. You know, Joe Umar. Joe will fight anybody. Joe will fight anybody. If it makes sense, Joe will fight anybody. Chisora, we were almost sick of talking about that. Chisora's been offered to fight Joe by 3 different promoters. and each time it's not ever materialized. So Joe Parker, that's a big fight. Joe will fight anybody. But in realistic, in an ideal world, I'd like to see Fabio Wardley fight someone like Nathan Gorman for the British title, somebody like that, Dubois fighting Fabio Wardley, something like that. They're really, really good fights. And then my man Sol Dakers later in the year, he will be in and around that level, trust me, and he will be gate crashing the heavyweight, the domestic heavyweight scene very, very soon, because he's not starting in any easy gimmick fights. He's going straight in.
Okay. Before we go, Sam, just a quick word on Carl Frampton's heartbreaking loss on the weekend and his career, phenomenal career for Carl.
Carl Frampton, not just saying this, one of my favourite fighters of the last 10 years. Like I've loved every minute of Carl Frampton's career. I think he's a wonderful man, a really, really good man, great for boxing. He's been a great fighter. Entertaining fights, probably minus the Quigg fight. I remember watching that. It weren't the best of fights, but he has had an amazing career. And although it didn't end the way everyone and he himself would have wanted it to end, he's had a career that most people would only dream of having. Selling out the Odyssey Arena, going to Vegas, fighting Santa Cruz, beating Santa Cruz. He's been, even when he was probably past his best when he fought Warrington, it's one of the best fights I've ever seen in my life with him involved with that. I was ringside, lucky enough to be ringside for that fight. Amazing atmosphere. Now is the time. I was saying before he fought that fight, I hope this is his last fight anyway, regardless, even though you'd want to see him kind of go out in Belfast with all these crazy fans singing his name. He probably deserved that, but he's had a great career, Carl. And yes, it's not the way we wanted to see him go out, but amazing career regardless. And like, good luck to him, and I hope he enjoys his young family now. And I'm sure we'll see Carl in and around boxing anyway, because he's a great pundit as well.
Absolutely, well said, Sam. Well, appreciate helping me through my 10-day quarantine.
Yeah, no problem. Umar, seriously, you look like a captive again. How long are you in that room for?
I've got till next Thursday, this time next week.
What kind of hotel is it? It's not a Premier Inn, is it?
No, Renaissance. It's okay. It's okay.
Premier. There's no wrong with the Premier Inn, but you don't want to be in there for 10 to 12 days, do you? You don't want to be. No, it's not about that.
It's all right, but
how big's the room? You're just on FIFA Live, aren't you?
FIFA, Netflix, talking to superstars like you.
Don't worry. Don't know about that. We need to have a game of FIFA, mate, online. Let's go.
All right, give me your username after I've uploaded this video. Go on, Sam. Appreciate your time.
Take care, Umar. See you in a bit.